This young boy was left depressed after seeing his mother and young brother die in front of his eyes. And this has left a scar on his heart after losing people he loved the most.
Wari umunsi wanjye mubi. Mami na murumuna wanjye bakaba barapfuye ndeba mbura icyo mbafasha.
The husband still can't believe how both his wife and son would die on the same day. To him, he has lost part of him.
Angona kubeshya nabuze abantu b'ingenzi kuri jewe. Nabuze ubuzima kuri jewe.
Why is it that no one saved the mother and her son? It was so devastating, but what exactly happened? And how are both the son and his father coping with life after such a tragedy? This is their painful story.
Cyusa Aime Lionel.
Lionel was there that same day, but he was too young to do anything, and he watched them die, something that he will never forget, that has left him with no brother and no mother, making his life mentally difficult.
Mami na murumuna wanjye bakaba barapfuye.
My mom and younger brother died when I was sick. I couldn't help anything. I was just outside when the gas exploded, and I immediately ran away terrified and returned with people to save us, who phoned when the door had locked itself. And here's what happened. My younger brother was sleeping in the house, and my mother was just lighting up the cooking gas, and it accidentally exploded. And the worst of all happened. To him, that was his worst day ever, as he never thought that he would lose both the brother and mother at the same time. He now struggles to accept the fact that they are no longer here, though he's sure they left him. It has left a big scar on his heart, having lost people he loved the most, and wish him to take heart and courage.
Nitwa Cyusa Aime Lionel.
His wife was a teacher in secondary schools, but on that day, she had to tutor some students. The day started well as any other Sundays, where he and the children went to church, and the mother headed to teaching. After church, I went back home and found the mother is yet to return, and kids had finished bathing and were hungry, hence feeding them. I fed my boy for the very last time, then headed back to work, and my wife found me at my workplace asking me how to connect a phone and a PC. I showed it to her, and she left, and that is probably the last time I would see her alive. The hard-working man kept doing his job, whereas the mother headed back home and even paid the school fees of the younger boy who would later die with her in the same house. She then realized she has not paid all the amount and called the husband on phone to let him know that the school fees is not complete, which he assured her that by the next day they would pay the remaining amount of money. And that one was one of the last conversations they had on phone. The cooking gas had been finished maybe like a day or two before, and when she reached at home, she also reminded me that they had no gas to cook. I had money, but I felt like not buying it. I didn't know why, but after remembering that children have school the next day and using charcoal would take longer, plus breakfast preparation in the morning, then I told her where money was. He believes that what is meant to be will be no matter what. Maybe if he never gave her the money to buy cooking gas, things might have gone right. But who knows? She went and bought the gas, returned home and called me saying that the gas is now available, but the regulator is making some noise. So I asked, "Can you smell the gas?" And she said no. I told her to unplug the gas and then wait for me to come and fix it. And that was the last time I would hear her voice. He then hurried up with his colleague, but on his way to home, a phone rang and it said, "Dad, where are you?" As the house is burning, yet kids are in the house. So he said he's still far from home, but requested that person to make sure and help as possible as he could. And then called one of his friends to go and check on them, but it was too late. I also didn't take long. After like 5 minutes, I was at home. I was immediately scared. as I found almost 1,000 people gathered at my house. I tried running to the burning house, but people held me firmly so that I would not end up burning. I was trying to enter the burning house, but they locked me in the car, and the fire brigade took too long but arrived and put off the fire. He was hoping that maybe they would get seriously injured and take them to hospital and then recover after some time.
babavanye mu nzu yo kubavana mu nzu byarangiye aho nari nicaye mu modoka. Umushuti wanjye w'umuturanyi niwe waje kumbwira n'umuganga niwe wari wakoze inshingano zo kubavana mu nzu. Yaje arahansanga arambwira ngo komera, igihe cyo kuba umugabo ni iki kirageze. Nk'umuntu wari mu kibazo nk'icyo ngicyo utabibwira icyabaye.
But after 3 hours burning in the house, a doctor who was on the scene told them that it's time for him to become a man. And then he understood what had happened. We did not sleep that night as we took them to the mortuary late at night. It was such a difficult time for me, and to make matters worse, I had some cash in the house that were also burned in the process, and organizing a funeral became another challenge. But as a man, he had to look for answers and still couldn't do it alone. With the support of friends and family members, they helped him and he organized a burial ceremony the next Tuesday, and the two were put to rest. After that, they had to return home, but they had nowhere to go as the house was burned and damaged completely. I was asking myself where I will go. Do I sleep in the graveyard? But later got a house. My child went back to school. I was discouraged and even thought life was meaningless. But I remembered that I still had to take care of my son and went back to work.
ndasunika rimwe ndasunika kabiri ndasunika gatatu rurakinguka gazi yari iteretse hari itangira umwotsi wavuga haramudirishya tangira kuza nkubita gutya mu mutwe kandi nikubitana hasi izanze hariya
Emmanuel is the neighbor and the eyewitness as someone who was there when everything happened. He tells us more.
Amazina yanjye nitwa Ntamunoza Emmanuel.
About the gas explosion incident, I was there. It was on a Sunday evening, January 22nd this year. I was a newlywed and we had just come to church. Around 8 p.m, that's when we heard them screaming for help. I then broke the door, hoping to save them, but the explosion was too much that I was also burnt in the process. Some other people had gathered thinking it was a thief, but he came out and told them it was fire, and they too did their very best in lending a hand, trying to save those who were inside. After the explosion, the mattress was the first thing to catch fire, making it difficult for anyone to enter in the burning house. There was no ways of entering apart from digging and breaking the house. They dug around the sitting room and continued to the room where the mother and the kid were. Unfortunately, it was too late and they had both died. We hoped to save them, but couldn't. It's still difficult for this man even after all these months. He had left his job for the sake of being close to the family, but life happened and he lost part of him. That's why he says it's as if he has lost life. I had 2 children, but now I'm left with only one, and the wife is also no more. We weren't a rich family, but still we were not that poor. We were just a happy family with my wife and 2 children. And then a tragedy happened. After that incident, he started life from scratch as his house was burned and there were a lot of money inside, hence struggling from finding another house quickly, and he's here asking any good Samaritan who might be willing to help them survive and raise his only child. We can help this man by contributing on thegivinglife.com. We are so sorry to hear about the loss of your wife and son. We can't imagine the pain you are going through right now. We know that your healing journey will be long and difficult, but we believe in you. You are strong and you'll get through this. Thank you for watching. I'm Elijah and this is Afrimax English. Remember to subscribe.